Hi, it's Jasmine with our spring market update. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're watching this. I am recording on a very chilly April 11th. This morning we saw frost on the rooftops. Hopefully spring is coming soon. I'm here to unpack three things for you, three important pieces of news that are affecting our marketplace, and hopefully tell you what that means for you and how it looks for you, whether you are a buyer, a seller, or simply enjoying staying in your home. Number one, the easy and obvious interest rates on the rise. As you all know, the Bank of Canada increased its overnight rate 0.25% last month, and 2 days hence, April 13th, it looks like that's going to happen again. If you'd like to know how to prepare for rising rates, I'm including below a really, really excellent video from the Financial Post. It's less than 2 minutes long. You should absolutely watch it. It's very good advice on how to prepare for interest rates on the rise. But suffice to say that every 0.25 increase in rates is going to affect your monthly payment by $12 to $13 per $100,000 of mortgage. So 0.25% increase in rates, another 12 to 13 bucks for every $100,000 that you've borrowed. And remember, those of us that got mortgages in the last 6 years had to go through that stress test. So hopefully that would mean you qualifying at a higher rate. So hopefully there's a built-in buffer and you can manage those increased payments as you go along. We're including here a link to some very good mortgage brokers that you are welcome to talk to who can elaborate on that for you if you want to dig a little bit deeper. Number two, the cooling off period. The NDP has told us that they're going to introduce legislation called a cooling off period to protect home buyers under the Property Law Act. Now, a cooling off or rescission period has existed for many years in the new construction world. And the reason for that was it's generally a sophisticated developer selling the product and a less sophisticated buyer coming forward to buy it. The developer has its own sales staff, its own contracts, its own everything. So the buyers were a little bit less sophisticated in that case, and they were all given by law in BC a 7-day period in which they could just walk away from the contract for any reason. Now this looks like it's going to be introduced into the resale market, and we feel, well, number one, the notion of a home buyer's protection period is really, really good. On average today for a detached home in North Vancouver, somebody's paying over $2 million. So it's a giant decision and you want your time to do your due diligence. But what does it mean for a seller? It means there's going to be a period of uncertainty where they're not going to be able to make a move until they know whether the buyer is in place or just going to walk away, despite what happens to their financing or inspection and those kind of things. We don't know at this point how long the cooling off period is going to be, whether there's going to be a penalty for walking away, and whether or not this legislation will change if the market shifts from one favoring sellers, as we're in today, to one favoring buyers. So that will be interesting. Our industry had what we felt is a healthier approach to a cooling off period. It was a 5-day delay in accepting bids that would allow buyers to do their due diligence within that period. We felt that was a little bit more equal on buyers and sellers in the same transaction, but we'll see how that goes. Number three, the federal budget. Oh my goodness, housing focused to the max. There was talk of eliminating blind bidding or sealed bids. There's a significant amount of funding going towards quickly creating new and diverse housing, which is excellent. We need that supply to increase. There was restriction on foreign buyer investors and the addition of a flipping tax on homes sold within 12 months of purchase, with a few notable exceptions, mostly talking about life changes. You don't have to worry about that till January 2023, and there will be more information between now and then. This is good. First-time buyers will also get a tax credit and access to new tax-free First Homes saving account. It's not a lot of money, but it's a good step in the right direction for sure. I guess ultimately we feel that the major factor driving up home prices is a huge lack of supply and a tremendous demand. The last 2 years have made home a very different definition for a lot of people. It's become more important. The type of home, the location of the home, all those things more important, and money has been very, very cheap. So a huge demand and a very, very limited supply. That limited supply and huge demand has created a giant increase in equity. So there's the good news. If you're in a townhome, you've increased about 30% in equity, as our median price has gone up 30% in the last 12 months. In the detached world, that's a 20% increase in the last 12 months. And in the apartment world, that's 16%. So your typical apartment in North Van is selling for $730,000. Your typical townhome about double that at 1.4, and your typical detached home at 2.2 million. Is it a good time to buy, or is it a good time to sell? The basics still remain the same. Absolutely, yes, if you can afford it, and you can afford it over the long term. This is what the stress test is in place for. This is where some parents can come in and help you with your down payment if necessary. So if you find a good product and you like it and you can afford it, then absolutely for sure buy now, because it's better to be in the market than not in the market. And is it a good time to sell? 100% yes, it's a fantastic time to sell. Prices are still at record highs. The frenzy has died down a little bit, but you may want to get your home on the market before some of this legislation comes into play. As always, we're here for you to answer your questions specifically. Please, please, please get your real estate information from your local real estate professional, me or someone else that you might know, and not from the 6 o'clock news. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.